Detectives have prime suspect Adam Matos locked up on domestic abuse charges, trying to hold him as they gather enough evidence to prove he's a cold-blooded killer. The monster who massacred his child's mother, Megan Brown, her parents, Greg and Maggie, and her new boyfriend, Nick Leonard, at the family's home in Hudson, Florida.
Later that day, you go back to the house.
But detectives had been suddenly sidetracked after Adam pointed them to another possible suspect. One of Nick's ex-girlfriends who had allegedly been jealously stalking him for years and is said to have even threatened Megan after learning she was seeing him.
We actually flew to where she's at. We found her, we talked to her co-workers.
Only to learn Nick's ex had an airtight alibi.
She was not in Florida at the time we believe the homicides occurred. We couldn't find any indication that she and Adam had any kind of communication. And we were able to rule her out as a suspect right away.
And the focus is once again back on Adam, whose traumatized autistic son Tristan, just 4 years old, witnessed the bloody massacre and is starting to open up to investigators. So what did he say?
He described hearing the gunshot that killed his mother and her saying, please, please don't.
Tristan tells them what else he heard and saw.
He grabbed a little doll and he wrapped it up in like a little blanket and he started pounding on it and saying, "Mommy, mommy."
And finally, the poor kid points the finger at his own father. Did he say Daddy killed Mommy?
Absolutely. The daddy killed mommy.
Now with that, detectives and prosecutor Brian Sarabia have an eyewitness to corroborate their findings that Adam Matos is the murderer.
In terms of our understanding, it largely just confirmed what we already could decipher from the evidence in the scene.
And they are able to reconstruct, shot by deadly shot, blow by brutal blow, their scenario of what happened the day of the Brown family massacre. Their timeline starting with that first 911 call from Megan.
You cut your hand with the knife?
Yes.
Okay.
Blood bleeding everywhere.
Okay, and that's the father of your son?
Yes.
Shortly after that call, Adam stormed out in a jealous rage, but detectives learned that Adam bombarded Megan with more than 100 threatening calls and text messages in the 12 or more hours that followed.
He was threatening to come back and finish her off.
A terrified Megan called her new boyfriend Nick, who rushed to her home, armed with a gun to protect her should Adam try to make good on his threat.
Nick had indicated he was going to go over there just to make sure everything was okay because obviously Mr. Matos, violent.
And investigators say Adam did indeed return to actually stake the place out.
I think he could see the house.
Aware by early evening that Nick was in there with Megan, Tristan, and Dad Greg, and now just waiting for the last member of the family to join them.
Once he got his mindset, that's what he was going to do.
And Adam makes his move when Mom Maggie arrives home from her night shift at a local convenience store around midnight.
And she pulls in the van, she gets out of the van, and he attacks her in the garage.
Viciously pounding her with a hammer.
He hits her multiple times about the head.
Adam then ties her up and grabs a plastic bag.
Putting the bag over her head, trying to ensure that she was either gonna die or at least not be able to get away.
Then what does he do?
He would then go upstairs, still armed with the hammer.
Making a beeline for the bedroom he used to share with Megan and finding her now in there with her new man, Nick.
And just start attacking Nick, just start wailing on him. Nick tries to defend himself.
The medical examiner indicated that it was approximately 21 strikes to the head.
And Matos is able to get Nick's firearm.
He then goes after Megan, who is run with son Tristan to the master bedroom to seek refuge with Dad Greg.
He's a hunter, so he had some hunting weapons in the house. And there's indication that he was in his closet trying to get a weapon to help protect the family.
But he was shot before he could load.
Right. I believe he may have probably loaded one bullet into a weapon, but just didn't have time to react. I think Adam got the drop on him.
Matos kills Greg, shoots him twice, and then turns and deals with Megan, shooting her once in the face.
And that's it, just one bullet for her.
And only took one, the way he shot her. She's facing him. He can take his time to aim, hit her in the left eye, and that's that.
And detectives would learn to their disbelief that Adam would then settle back into the house of horrors with son Tristan and make himself right at home among the dead. Police believe while the bodies lay murdered inside the Browns' home, Adam Matos started taking out ads on Craigslist to sell all their stuff.
He's selling jewelry, the entertainment center, laptops.
As well as several of the dogs' Mom Maggie bred, which he sold for $50 a pup.
One lady indicated she purchased a dog, and the dog itself smelled so bad she had to go home and give it a bath several times.
And he also had pizzas delivered to the murder scene.
Absolutely a nightmare. It's terrible.
Adam carrying on and hiding in plain sight as if nothing had happened.
He had already made contact with the neighbors.
Telling them that the family had gone to West Virginia on a hunting trip.
So he would go over there periodically throughout the next few days and nights and just hang out with them.
That is until police find the bodies he had evidently dumped in nearby woods. When cops came knocking at the door, Adam took off with his son, running through backyards. Then police say he stole a canoe, jumped in it, paddled to the other side, hopped in a cab, and went to Tampa, which is about an hour south of here. And less than 2 weeks after being captured at this Tampa hotel, Adam Matos would be charged with the first-degree murder of the Brown family and Nick Leonard. Do you have any doubt that Adam Matos was responsible for these murders?
I have no doubt. He was definitely responsible, 100%.
Next.
He reached into his right pocket and he pulled out a gun and he pointed it at my chest.
The prosecution is taken by surprise when Adam drops a bombshell at his trial.
He's claiming self-defense, that he was afraid for his life.
Did you defend yourself against them?
Yes.
Tell us again what were you going to do inside the house?
I just wanted to get my things, just gather the stuff that I had